Alright, quick weekly trading check-in. I'll walk through the trades I made last week, what I'm looking to do this week, and the stocks I'm keeping on my radar. Let's get into it. Hope you had a great Christmas. It was a short week, so not a ton of action. We're also heading into another short holiday week. Let's take a look at Nvidia, one of my favorite stocks to trade. The stock made a move higher, and you'd think I'd be happy about that. But honestly, I'm not. It still hasn't gone up enough for my liking. The stock ran past the levels where I like selling puts, so instead of forcing a bad trade, I switched tactics and bought call spreads. I thought those had a better risk to reward. That's the big takeaway here. Always check what the best trade is for the setup you're given, not the one you wish you had. Now, let's talk about the trades I want to make this week. I'm always keeping an eye on Nvidia, but there are other names I want to trade too. Tesla is my biggest long-term conviction. The latest full self-driving update just looks too good. Between self-driving and robotaxis, I think the business is set to take off. I'm still dollar cost averaging the stock. Nothing fancy. My long-term view hasn't changed. I think Tesla can be an $8 trillion company over the next 5 years, which puts the stock around $2,500 a share. That's not a short-term trade. That's just me steadily building a position. The other name I'm thinking about, I'm 95% convinced on, Grindr. I've watched this one for a while. I've done a lot of research, and I like the management team. I like how the business really caters to their customer. And that's because the management team are also users of the app. I'll be honest though, this one feels a little Black Mirror-ish to invest in. I'm not fully ready to break it down here yet, but I've got a full video coming on Grindr soon, and you'll definitely want to check that out. Now, let's look at the names I'm watching, but I'm not jumping into yet. We've got advertising and defense. Let's start with advertising. And the first name on my list is TTD. That's the trade desk. The trade desk is being removed from the NASDAQ 100 due to poor stock performance. That sounds bad, but forced selling from index funds can create really good opportunities. We've covered a wide range of stocks recently, and they're all sending the same signal. The economy is doing better than the headlines suggest. We just covered copper, which is one of the clearest economic indicators out there. When copper prices are high, it usually means real economic growth is coming. I think people are underestimating those tailwinds, and once the market catches up, advertisers could pop. Once the forced selling from index funds ends, this could end up being a very attractive entry. Another advertiser I'm watching is ZETA. ZETA plays in a similar space to TTD, though they're not identical businesses. ZETA has high growth, and honestly, after doing this weekly series and looking at the economy from so many angles, I'm a lot less worried than I used to be. If advertising stocks dip, I think this is a sector where buying fear could really work out well. I'm also watching defense stocks. Maybe it's just because I like things that go boom, but more seriously, global rearmament isn't slowing down. I do worry sometimes that startups like Anduril are where the real growth will be, but the reality is we're so far behind our military goals that orders are going to be for everyone. I know that sounds crazy for the #1 military in the world, but the battlefield has changed. As drones and AI become more important, I think defense spending stays elevated across the board as we adapt our military to new threats. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture things I'm watching. First, let's recap the GDP growth numbers from last week. I thought the GDP print would be boring. Turns out it came in at 4.3%, a record number. That's a big deal, and it reinforces the idea that the economy is stronger than people think. Next, here's what I'm watching this week. Copper is at the top of my list. We just covered copper, and it's sitting at all-time highs. With tax cuts encouraging investment, I'm really curious how strong 2026 could end up being. Normally, I'd also be watching jobs closely, But Jobs Friday got pushed back to January 9th because of the government shutdown. Honestly, it's still a holiday week. I'm not expecting much action. Well, that's the plan for this week. Did you make any trades last week? Got any trades you're thinking of? Drop them in the comments. If you want to talk more about potential trades, join me on Discord. Link in the description. See you there soon. Bye.